Hello guys, it's Ricky from Lasal Airsoft Community Manado, Indonesia. Welcome again to the low-cost high-performance tech to your Airsoft and Gel Blaster. And today, in this video, we'll be speaking about motors. There are several types of motor out there, but the most commonly used in Gel Blaster and Airsoft world is the 460 motor and the 480 motor. Today, I have two examples of 480 motors. The motors is the heart of your unit. It's like the engine in your unit. Without the motor, uh, your airsoft or gel blaster, your unit cannot be function at all. It die. So actually, the electricity power from the battery come to the motor, and the motor translated to the kinetic energy that will run the internal of your gearbox, that will be giving you the power to shoot in your unit. There are several type of motor, but the most commonly we know is there are three. First, the balance motor. Balance motor is actually the motor coming in stock motor in your gel blaster while you buy it from the factory. It has the speed, it has the torque, it has the power, but the problem is it's not too fast, it's not too strong. And there you have the high speed motor. High speed motor is like sprinter in the sport. High speed motor can run really fast, but it cannot pull very hard spring. On the other side, we have high torque motor. High torque motor is like a bodybuilder or power lifter in the sport. So even though it cannot run really fast, but it can pull very heavy weight, and the high torque motor can pull a stiffer spring. So if you want to upgrade your FPS, you should buy high torque motor. If you want to build a unit with the very high rate of fire, you have to buy the high speed motor. The misconception that I have at the time, and most new player has, actually we're thinking about, if we upgrade the motor, if we buy aftermarket upgraded motor, it will provide us overall performance increase, but it's not the case. I once buy both high speed motor when I think that I will buy a new spring that very stiff with 1.5 and new upgraded motor, and when I installed the motor with the spring, the motor cannot pull spring because it's a high speed motor. So that's it. You have to understand the function of the motor, the nature of the motor when the company designed it for the high speed or for the high torque. Okay, we'll be speaking more about that in the close up to the motor. Okay. Alright guys, so here's the two motor. This is the high torque motor and this is the high speed motor. This is a very cheap high torque motor, but this is a cheap high speed motor, but not very cheap. They are in the different level. Actually, there are two parts which determine the quality or the performance of your motor. First, the magnet quality. Second is the TPA, or turn per ammeter in your ammeter. This is the shaft, and inside the motor there is ammeter. Okay, so as you can see, just like all common motor, this high torque motor still using the ferrite magnet, which is not very good magnet. In the other side, this high speed motor already equipped by the neodymium magnet or the silver magnet or the rare earth magnet, which is the strongest magnet in the world. So actually I'm lucky to have this one. Pricing just around $20 Australian, or in Indonesia it's about you can find Tokopedia or Shopee around 350,000 to 450,000. Next we'll be trying to disassemble this motor, so you can see what's inside the motor and you will know how to disassemble the motor. This high torque motor is very cheap, however actually it's have a good build quality. This is the nickel plating can, and also the armature is very good. Let's try to open this and look what inside the motor. How to open? Actually you need to take out this spring, and after that this is the brush. Take out the brush also, the other side, and the brush. Okay, my little tips when you want to open the motor, so the positive and negative will not be exchanging while you open it. It's better when you mark it. Red is the positive and no color, or black usually the negative. Okay, so we put the mark here. This one is positive and this one is negative. For this kind of cheap motor, both of them, they have lock here. Okay. The thing is how to disassemble after you take out the brushes. Put your small flat screwdriver and shake it push it and shake it until you see a gap. It's lift a little bit like this. Try the other side. Be careful when you're doing that, don't to damage this brush housing. So later if you damage this one, it will be harder to put back the brush. Okay, if you see there are gap already, just smash it smack it head first, like that. So be careful, don't do it, don't smack it too hard, because you can break this end bell, and see what's inside. Okay, so inside the magnet also marked by white negative here. It's like this. So here's the negative side, this is the positive side. We're doing as well as the high-speed motor, because this still has pinion attached. Sometimes it's hard to take out, so you need tools like flathead screwdriver to remove it. Pilers also. This is the motor tower. This motor came with these all parts, and this motor doesn't have the tower and the pinion and the spring because it's very cheap actually. Alright, it's hard to take out because of the magnet. Now you can see the difference between the magnet. Okay, see that. Next, the part of the motor that determine the nature of the motor is the armature. This is the armature. Very good actually. The high-speed motor armatures have been shim, so it's very good. This one not because it's very cheap, still acceptable. Now take a look at the copper winding there. See, this one for the high speed, it has a bigger diameter of the wire. This has a smaller diameter of the wire. However, look at this. The TPA, the turn per hour ammeter, this one winding a lot. This one not as much as this one. So actually, what determines the nature of the motor is the turn per ammeter. The bigger the wire and the less of the turn of per ammeter give you the speed. The smaller the wire and the more the TPA of your motor is determined, it will give you the high torque motor. Now, because I'm planning to make a very good high torque motor, in the other words, sometime in airsoft they call it Frankentorque motor, I will try to exchange this high torque motor armature to this high speed motor cans, because it has the neodymium magnet or the silver magnet. Okay, so it will have a very torquey motor. It will have a very high torque. It will become a very high torque. Okay, so let us put it inside. Sometimes it's very difficult because the magnet is very strong. Can you do it off the camera? Sorry guys, take some duration here. Alright, I will pause. Be back after this assemble. Okay guys, finally I will be able to put it inside. Comparing these two end bells, actually I'm preferring the cheaper the high torque motor end bell. I would like to use this. It's marking by red from the factory. This is black negative, this is positive. So like this. Alright, after that you need to hit a little bit over here to get this little arm to lock this motor. Looks like I will do it off camera again to give me more space for them. Alright, after all, this back at once again. Now let's get the brushes back. And the brush spring. Okay, tiny tower, the pinion, okay, and finally our custom Frankentorque motor is ready to be tested. Okay guys, so finally our custom high torque motor have been complete. This motor will be having very high torque, but the other side we will be sacrificing the speed, so high torque low speed motor, but it's okay because I would like to test this motor to this unit. This is my custom built DMR with the Jinming J9 receiver and this M-Lock 15-inch handguard. This combination have been with me for a very long time. It's about 1 year since I make this custom DMR, but this time something different because I put GNP version 2 metal gearbox inside, along with the hop-up chamber, metal hop-up chamber. Inside the gearbox, I exchanged the bearing with bushings, the steel bushing from SHS, and full metal gear from Fighting Grow, and also the element full steel teeth piston. Element piston with full teeth, full metal teeth, full steel teeth. Okay, and what's very important in this, I already installed the M170 spring inside the gearbox. M170 spring is very big spring, even though it's not the biggest spring, it's not the strongest spring, but it's really strong spring. You still have M190 M M210 spring, but I think because I'm just like want to break 500 FPS, I just need the M170. And 170 it's not easy to pull by ordinary motor. Even just ordinary high torque motor is not easy to pull that spring. The motor which have a good reputation to pull that some kind like that spring is the GNP Saitan motor or the Sistema Magnum motor, which pricing is very high. It's priced like one of a very good gel blaster. So with this high torque custom modification motor, I think we'll be able to pull the spring, the M170 spring. Okay, so as you can see here, there is no motor, because I have no motor that have the chance to pull the spring other than this. So I will install this motor to this unit, and then after that we're going to test this unit if the motor can be able to pull the M170 spring. Alright guys, it's already installed. Now just put in the battery and let's test it. As you can see here, I have the Turnigy 2.2, but this is actually a very strong battery. But to put a little bit more pressure to our custom built high torque motor, I will just be using this Pavi 1000 mAh LiPo 3S LiPo, old one, so the voltage is not very good. To put a little bit more challenge to the motor. I'll be using the 0.2 gram BB with this PMAC. Now it's been installed and ready to shoot. Directly we'll be trying to do first the Pullman chrono and then the real chrono. Pullman chrono first, testing, hopefully it will make a sound. Wow, nice. Alright guys, this is not the side, not the bottom. This is the top can capable. It's supposed to be harder, it's supposed to be more than 500 FPS. As you can see, both should make a hole at the top of the can. It's the hardest part to penetrate by BB actually. Now we'll try to reading the chrono of the unit. .558 FPS, 569, 569, 558 again. Okay, tension and very consistent. Actually, this is the strongest unit that I ever built in my life. Let's see the recap. See that the highest is 569, the minimum is 558, and the average is 562. Wow. Absolutely, I will downgrade this unit after this because there is no field which will be allowing me to play with this high FPS. So guys, actually you already learned how about the motor, the overall information about motors, and now how to modify the motor. The modification we did is to make the high torque motor. You can also make the very high speed motor. It's depend on your preference actually. I think it's all about it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share also this video. Okay, see you again in my next video.